What's going on, everybody? CleanSpark continues to push higher. In this video, I'm going to look over the chart and just give you some things to look out for. And this will probably be a pretty quick video. But let's get into this and see what CleanSpark's been doing lately. You'll see that we broke out of that 520 resistance area and just continued pushing. We are now in the sixes. But watch out, because we are facing an ascending resistance line. And it just so happens we kind of are losing steam right here. I personally would not be surprised to see us pull back, test this previous resistance as a support before going on our next leg up. And remember, that's just looking short term. Many of you are probably wondering, should I buy right now, right here? I would say personally, wait for a little bit of a pullback. But if you believe in this long term, I also believe in just dollar cost averaging. I think it's a lot safer to wait for this to pull somewhere around 5 or so before adding up more. But I do believe, looking back, 6 will still be a great deal. And as we approach the halving, as we start seeing more Bitcoin production coming along in July, which we should see, their new facilities that they recently acquired are going to be getting more machines online. They also have more machines coming to the Washington, Georgia facility, and of course Sandersville getting built out as well. But I do believe this chart is still very bullish, despite potentially seeing us pull back a bit here. We have been on a beautiful run since the end of last year. If you think you're going to be able to load up on this again in the 1s or 2s, I think that is extremely unlikely now. But I do think it's possible to see somewhere around the 5s, so I am trying to stay ready for that. One thing you'll notice is we are a bit overbought here on the RSI. I mean, we have just been continuing to push up. Don't be surprised to see this pull back a bit. Don't get too greedy here. That being said, long term, I think this is still an extremely great deal. Now, I do still see one potential buying opportunity here, and that's going to be in August. Tuesday, August the 8th, they are going to be reporting their quarter that we just got out of, and that's April, May, June. We already got our mining updates for those months, and I did a previous video on CleanSpark. I'll leave it down below for you or at the end screen. But essentially, I think we're going to miss this revenue quite considerably, because they have been focused more on holding their Bitcoin, on adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, rather than just selling more Bitcoin than they mine to meet revenue expectations, which I'm honestly glad about that. Because looking long term, the more Bitcoin they can accumulate as we approach the halving, the better for them in the long term. Now, short term, that may cause some pain, and I do expect a potential buying opportunity somewhere around August once they report earnings. But if you want more context on that, look over my last video. I essentially go over what their revenue should be. One thing to consider is we could continue running up coming up to August, and before August, this could be somewhere around the 7s or 8s potentially, and the pullback ends up coming back to where we are now, or a little higher than we are now. So that's one thing to consider. I am looking out for August for a great buying opportunity. That said, it could be higher than its current price, even with pulling back in the future there. Hopefully that makes sense. I know that's probably a little confusing, but things are definitely looking good for CleanSpark. We're at new 52-week highs. I've been arguing that the chart's been bullish ever since we saw our golden cross. We of course have the Bitcoin halving catalyst coming up. We have the Fed, in my opinion, at the end of the rate hikes. Maybe we see one more, maybe we don't. It really depends on inflationary data, which has been continuing to come down. PPI is now under 2%, CPI is around 4%, and should be continuing downwards. I've been watching in my area the used car market going down, housing going down as well. Gas prices kind of staying where they're at, but should be going down in my opinion. And the point is, I do see a lot of catalysts that could continue pushing CleanSpark upwards. Whether it's the Bitcoin cycles, whether it's the macro environment with the Fed potentially lowering rates by the end of this year and throughout 2024. That's definitely something that can help small caps out like CleanSpark, that Wall Street sees as risky because it's likely they'll dilute rather than pulling out debt at an insane high interest rate. One thing we've also been seeing since April is increasing volume, and this increasing volume on uptrends. That's good. And I do expect July to be a very impressive month for their Bitcoin mining update. That'll come up right in the beginning of August, right before earnings. So it's going to be a very interesting time with earnings coming out and a really good, in my opinion at least, a really good July mining update. We should see a big increase in hash rate, a big increase in more Bitcoin production by the day and by the month, and progress being made at all facilities. But let me know what you think lately about CleanSpark. Do you think we're going to continue to blast higher, or do you think we're going to find some resistance here, retest the $5 area, or trade a little bit sideways? Long story short, despite running up so much lately, I think short term we may pull back, but long term this is still a great buying opportunity. But just remember that we have run up quite a bit. Keep that in mind, get it mined, and be patient. Don't sell yourself short. I still think this is the early innings of this, and this will continue. And I think we'll be pleasantly surprised where this will be in 2024, 2025. But let me know what you guys think about CleanSpark down below. Thanks as always. I appreciate you, and have a good weekend.